Moving on now to some other news, the United Nations says the Trinidad and Tobago government should introduce legislation that would codify the rights of refugees and asylum seekers, establish their legal status, and clarify the options available to them. This in response to the demonstration by Cuban nationals outside the United Nations House in Port of Spain over the past several months. Marie Hull reports.
United Nations Resident Coordinator for Trinidad and Tobago Richard Blewett said the UN recognizes Trinidad and Tobago's commitment in its creation of the refugee policy in 2014, which is the first step towards the development of a national asylum system. The refugee policy, he said, sets out a three-phase process to develop a national asylum system, which in its implementation would acknowledge and support the basic human rights of asylum seekers and recognize refugees as indicated in the Refugee Convention. Mr. Blewett said although the government, with the support of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, is processing in the implementation of the policy, the access to basic services needed to support a life with dignity remains a challenge for many asylum seekers in Trinidad and Tobago. He said the implementation of the asylum system and its supporting legislation would provide opportunities for refugees to integrate and contribute productively to the society in Trinidad and Tobago through the provision of legal documentation and access to work, education and health services. Mr. Blewett said until the necessary legislation was passed, the UNHCR would continue to work with its partners and the government to develop interim solutions for refugees and asylum seekers here in Trinidad and Tobago.